Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case, looking at the latest post within the case discussion group, some references to Jan Friorillo, her statements and responses, general discussions about conflict and people being belittled or taken down in the community, and furthermore some references to Christmas and the odd Noah Presgrove family member responding back. And this is all supposedly within this case discussion group because the other pages have been a little bit quiet. So, welcome to anyone that is currently watching the live premiere. Share your thoughts, discussions in the live chat box. And at the end of this video, feel free to drop a comment down below and let me know your additional thoughts or if you've got any questions. It does help with spreading awareness in regards to my videos and it'll be appreciated. And you'll find a pinned comment as well below with additional links if you do want to support this channel. If you are interested in recent coverage by me, top right corner of the screen, there will be an I symbol. Be sure to follow that, where the full playlist will be at. So, I believe we've got it adjusted to the newest, or maybe we don't. I'll just check now and see what shows up. It wasn't, that's typical. 24 minutes ago. Now, this is what happened to Noah Presgrove, I believe. Real talk from FBI, 42-year-old who loves JB, who's JB, Justin Bieber, partners in true crime. This is an old one, in case you're wondering. We don't need to check that out right now. Then we got this one. Here we go again from the beginning. Who did it? You heard that, 42-year-old who loves JB. I don't know what the reference that's all about. But yeah, this is the individual from the UK. Now, I think it might have been during my live stream. Can't remember the person's name in chat, but they said they watched a person that sounded like they were from the UK covering the case and did some videos. And then I suggested, oh, is it this person as example? They said would get back to me. They haven't. But if you are watching this now, let me know if this is, for example, the video, the person you was referencing, known as WTC Kaz Walk Through Crime. And Kaz has an alternative channel as well. They made a reference to it when there was leaving a reply or a comment to me in the past, but they've got an alternative channel, which is a makeup one. So for anyone watching right now, if you're interested in terms of alternative coverage when it comes to this case and retelling the story of what happened, it's got a good thumbnail, includes quite a lot of stuff. There you go. You type that title into YouTube, Noah Presgrove savagely taken away, Town's hidden secrets will come out. And it says WTC case. So you'll be able to check that out, and if you're interested in the makeup channel, I think the link is available on their main channel page somewhere. With that being said, we move on. So we've got Joyce Burgow 3 hours ago. So let's just read this and see where we end up at. Everyone talking about let's keep focus on Noah. I have seen from many people on these groups downgrade CN for what has happened to that young girl and Lucio. So, in regards to this, CN means Caleb Newton, the father to Jack Newton. Caleb Newton being involved in a 2020 accident with a 7-year-old girl, boating related, at Warwick Lake. It was classified as an accident, but people have questioned it with time. As for Lucio, I've not looked into it much because I keep trying to find articles and the shit just doesn't show clearly. But maybe it's because one being outside of the US. Anyway, Joyce adds on by saying, I have seen people downgrade Caden Pressey as well for what happened to LM. Oh wait, hold on. KP, Caden Pressey, is that right? Who is LM? I've never heard of that name initialed before. Does anyone know who LM is? I don't care about something that has happened within a few years of Noah's passing. Everyone has hard feelings about these situations and who was involved. Using these people's deaths to their advantage and placing blame on others such as KP, Caleb and whomever else is absolutely terrible. All of this happened well before Noah's passing. Please stop with it all. There's only one side and there's Noah's side with those lying and telling the truth. Everyone talking about let's keep focus on the Noah Presgrove case. That's very interesting because whilst that is said elsewhere, there is still pettiness going on. there are still counterpoints going on. A little bit hypocritical. Now, I'm not responding to Joyce. At least from what I've seen, Joyce is a good person. What I'm referring to is elsewhere, okay? It's just very interesting because it reminds me of the Dylan Rounds case when people with time, they were saying, we're here for the case, we care for the case, but at the same time, they're in a never-ending cycle of drama, conflict, pledging allegiance to their masters, to their daddies and cult leaders, then spiraling out of control, mistrusting one another, communication breaking down, more drama, being completely lost, and going through it all over again. If you want full focus, then you will look at the screen and you will listen to the audio. That's if you want full-on strict focus. This is what I'm saying. I think humans, some fail to acknowledge or even understand, comprehend the reality with WarLike Wrath. I'll just make that very clear right now. I can spend a couple of hours, if not more, when making these videos, right? Yes, the chat is a live premiere, but the video itself is pre-recorded. You know what that means? It basically means that earlier on in the day, at some point, I spent a couple of hours, if not longer, locking in, recording a video, analysing photos, comparing, contrasting, breaking down, making sense of piss-poor language which other humans do in this case or community, making sense of stuff, and much more, and single-handedly keeping the case alive for almost every single day, what's within my control, with the exception of roadblocks along the way. Over 200 videos on this case, mostly focus, pre-recorded videos, and then at the end of the day, I decide to rest, lay my head back, not literally, and check the chat and engage there. So not only am I locking in when it comes to making videos earlier on, but at the time of when I do return to a video that's already been made, I'm re-watching it all. I shouldn't have to. I don't have to. Majority of people don't. And yet I've almost attended almost every single live premiere out there when it comes to my videos and across all boards of cases. At one point, I attended every live premiere for 365 days straight and beyond, with other background bollocks going on in real life, but it was still under control, right? Can the same be said for other humans who, what do they have to do? All they have to do is just sit there and listen and take notes if they want, or compare, contrast, or just simply engage with the chat if you're having a bad day, if things are that effed up and you need a distraction. Oh no, WarLike Wrath has to join the local nunnery. Where's my cross at? Where's my breadstick? Oh my goodness, golly gosh. You want me to put some black tape across my mouth? Oops, sorry, that sounds a little bit naughty, doesn't it? Oh, I'll just keep my lips shut. Oh, which ones? Oh, there's only a pair on my mouth, and they're being used right now for the right reasons, okay? Oh, I'm sorry, was that tone a little bit too naughty? Oh, well, let's just remember one thing. That from 2020 up to now, I've been covering mysteries and cases and all kinds of stuff in between. The language, the wording, the delivery, the most darkest of times when it can be cut through with a form of lightheartedness, and people down the line in messed up situations on the verge of death and beyond have reached out and said it's helped or it's been a distraction. I think that goes a long way. So even when some cases aren't quite solved immediately, down the line, it helps people in other ways too. And even family members or friends of friends, victims, etc. have reached out and said, you're doing fine, you're doing well. And that's with everything else in between, right? So when you take that into consideration, when you look statistically at the year in review of 2024 with my channel, over 2.3 million views, over 5,000 plus subscribers gained, one particular video getting over 10,700 watch hours and much more, Clearly, whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm saying is working, is under control, and that's pretty much it. But when it comes to other humans out there with time, the understanding isn't quite there. The actions, the power, the tools are present with humans and they do not take action, right? People have a choice, but they don't utilize it. When it comes to my videos, they're pre-recorded, locked in, focused about the case and or the community 99.9% of the time. And then the live chat is just an afterthought afterwards, but an opportunity to bring people together. It's that bloody simple. And at the end of the day, when it comes to certain humans you'd think could never gel together, and then you see it in a controlled way, right? Not all the time from what some people may witness. But if you go onto Facebook pages and there might be some back and forth with Brooke Bounce-Carter and other people in opposition and not quite gluing or gelling because of disagreements and much more, and yet conversations can be held in somewhat of a controllable way at the time. But on YouTube, my, what is going on? It just reminds me once again of the Dylan Rounds case. We need to keep reminding ourselves. We need to keep remembering. We're here for the case. We're here for this. The moment when humans have to constantly remind themselves or remind others, that's when the battle is lost. That's when there is a level of doubt planted as a seed within the mind and beyond. Okay? You got to keep convincing yourself, well, clearly you don't truly believe in it in the first place, or when said towards others out there. If you know, you know. If you have it under control, you have it under control. You know what videos to do, you know what to do. I have video ideas. Did I have enough time today? Unfortunately not, but I probably will the day after. So I can do a locked in one yet again. And as for the live chat and anything else beyond that, that is separate from the video. To reiterate once again, if people are here for the case, then people are here for the videos, and the live chat is just a side piece. If it's that problematic, you can close the chat. If it's that problematic, you can go on full screen mode, right? And when people don't choose to do that, then it might make you think, maybe they're here for the case, but they're also here for conversation too, which is fine. But then you start complaining about the conversation and the contents within it, it kind of makes you a bit of a hypocrite. See, I've analysed humans for over 10 plus years and it will not stop. And the patterns and trends that I've noticed with time is absolutely interesting. Let's put it that way. But whilst we're here, let's see what Bergow has to say in addition. Everyone has had hard feelings about the situation. I haven't. Does that make me a bad person? Well, over-emotional humans will think that, but the reality is, when it comes to WarLike Wrath, I am not emotionally connected to this case, nor have I been with previous ones, hence why I can look at it deeper and darker and from more perspectives. Those that may be more emotionally invested, it doesn't make them less of a person. It makes them a good individual as for caring and everything. But, you know, when it comes to handling the important stuff and trying to work it out and with what material may be passed on, it might not be in the best hands of those type, right? Just being realistic. Anyway, as for Caden Pressey, in terms of what I'm aware of, when people have been hard on Caden, it's down to the timeline and the inconsistencies. But equally, I think the same would be applied to Jack Newton or any other partygoers, that if they did put themselves out there publicly, they said this here, but they said that there, they would all be questioned under a light and beyond. You know, at the end of the day, if it was ever possible just to look at the very first interviews of the different partygoers when it was fresh, when it was raw, when the memory recollections were at the highest in accuracy, you would think, of 2023. Was it October or 2023 onwards? At some point when Caden Pressey did an interview. How much would that differ from that to the June 2024? Would it be drastic or not? Because if you think of the June 2024 private interview with the Public Partners in True Crime one, that's very drastic in recollection of stuff. And that's only a 1 month difference. So what happens if you compare the 2024 one with the 2023 one? Even more time passing by. That would be interesting. Anyway, what are comments? Chalia, I agree, but it needs to be on both sides. It doesn't make it okay for anyone to bash the other, especially when they can't defend themselves. Let's play it even across the board here. Look at the names that Jan Friorillo threw out just yesterday alone. Let's call out all the insane theories Justin has put out. I see it being allowed on one of the other pages. How is that okay? Right, so there's some reference to Jan Friorillo, which maybe we'll get to later. Who knows what's going on there? I can honestly respect your reply. I thought that said crickets. It's rickets. Oops. Michelle, thank you, Joyce. It's gotten way out of hand. The reason we're here is to find justice for Noah and continue to hope and pray for truth and overcome the lies. And last but not least, exactly, these groups have turned a bit toxic. I remain because I'm waiting to see the day Noah receives justice. Things may have become toxic because there's been a level of silence, a wall of no public progression, so it's filled with other talk, which could be considered a little bit unnecessary. From how it's been worded in the past by Justin Roy, there was a time on the Family Run page where everyone could gather together and there was discussions, there was questions and answers, and even with the likes of Caleb and beyond. But then with time, things broke down, people were removed or kicked, and posts were deleted from the past, and Justin thought that's valuable information lost. And that was by the hands of certain family members, supposedly. What's that all about? That sounds unfortunate. What else do we have here? Terry, I'm sharing this from another group. Shame on those people. Leave Jan Friorillo alone for beep's sake. Y'all are ridiculous and childish. Everyone knows what you're doing, trying to keep the focus on someone else's business because you're afraid the truth will come out. Subject, addressing unfounded criticisms. Right, there's a lot here, but we'll read that later because there is supposedly from like a screenshot from the horse's mouth. We'll do that shortly. Jody, my wish for Noah's family this holiday season is that they're treated gently with love and comfort. Beth Carr. See, this is another reference. People keep jumping on Beth Carr and saying that she is Vanessa. I mean, you look at the profile picture, completely different, and as well, the dog as well, completely different to the dog Vanessa has. And I'm not talking about any reference to the past, I'm talking about a current one. Beth Carr's language and wording is completely different to Vanessa. Not for it to sound odd, because I know some people will probably scold me with an iron cross heated, but when it came to Vanessa Salazar, whether you agree with her or not, or whatever else, depending who you were and at the time of conversations, Vanessa spoke in a soft tone and had positive things to say. I know that won't apply to everyone, but if it was like at times, one-on-one, positive things to say, quite open, and positive to an extent. In terms of Beth Carr, more formal language at times, different types of wording and sentence structuring. I can just see it, I can sense it myself. See, I'll have extensive experience because when it came to the past of fake accounts or impersonation ones, back in the Dylan Rounds case, I could get an idea of who was who and who was fake because people couldn't replicate one another. Now, I'm an exception because I can do a good impersonation of certain humans with time. Would it be a right Australian voice? Oh, yeah, it's me. Yeah, you still there? Yeah, I'm still talking. It's just a little bit hard. And many more voices in between, including in the past with Gorilla Jack from the Dylan Rounds case. He would say, hello, it's Gorilla Jack. Yes, is there anyone here that remembers me? Really? Where are you? And much more. It's just one of those things. Not everyone can do it. So the humans that fail to do it, when they try and impersonate, more so through language and wording, they just may not have the same comprehension skills, the knowledge, and much more. Okay? Whether that be someone of high intelligence, mid-intelligence, or low intelligence, everybody is unique in terms of characteristics and personality, good reasons, bad reasons. You try recreating that over someone, it's just not always possible. Beth Carr is a separate individual. Granted, people may not like Beth or trust Beth. I think I might have been on the... Well, no, I wasn't on the receiving end of Beth. No, that was something else. But, you know, there might have been some disagreements recently, but it is where it is. Not the end of the world. But what other humans do when they fall out with someone, such as Beth Carr, they'll just jump to, right, let's put a label and say, yep, you're fake impersonation. You're actually Vanessa. You're this, you're that. Where's the proof? That's not Vanessa. This is a completely different person in terms of the language, the wording, the sentence structuring in general. But in fairness, as for the opposite side, there's been many times in the past where there's been jumps about saying, yep, that's Brooke Bounds Carter with a fake account, an alternative one. Oh yeah, that's this person. But is there enough proof or evidence? Really? Or what? So, once again, it goes for both sides, and that needs to be taken into account. Screenshot there. In the past, whether that is, we'll get to that. We'll get to it later. We've got Denise Rogers. Arnold, 16 hours ago. I better read it now. Oh, sorry. Let me just slap myself gently. How dare you, Wrath, talk in a different accent, you naughty person. You deserve to go to the pit of hell. That might be quite a problem because I saw the devil face to face in the past as I was a child in the woodland, and even that walked away laughing. I wonder why. If you want to hear more about that story, an actual reality, well, it's available on my channel Documented back then. But right now, Denise Rogers Arnold says, I just pray that during this season, everybody keeps Noah's parents, such as Victor Presgrove, the father, Tree Flower, who I think is Casey Smith, the mother to Noah Presgrove, the grandmother or Nana Deborah Smith, the sister Madison Rawlings, the brother Dalen Presgrove, and the aunt Robin Smith, along with the cousin Ashley Chadwick, even though that name's not mentioned here, along with all the extended family. Prayers, the holidays are blessed and full of joy. May God send you comfort, peace, and all that. Yeah, heart goes out. So it's just all positive and acknowledgement. Now, you might wonder, why are certain names highlighted in blue? It's because they've been mentioned within this page and group. And if they're in blue, it's like clickable, viewable, and it also means, I believe, that they're a part of the page. But someone like Victor Presgrove, which has like a cross next to it along with Tree Flower, that supposedly means that Noah's father and mother are not a part of this case discussion group. But Deborah, Madison, Dalen, and Robin are a part of this page, supposedly. I could be wrong. It's just because I remember in the past when certain people were kicked or removed from pages and then others tried tagging them, you'd get like a blank, greyed out text of the person's name. So there's that. We just check here because there are some responses such as Deborah Smith, Presgrove family related member. Thank you, we lost. I don't know how to pronounce that because M-E-M-E, you could say as meme, but a meme can be in terms of other stuff like a photo, a picture in a funny comedic way, and it's like popular internet culture and it is like a certain trend. I'm guessing here it's to do with the loss of either a person or maybe an animal. And they say Christmas will be hard, but thank you for everything. Okay. So Cindy says, I'm sorry for the loss of your mother. Right, okay. Right, so there has been loss in between besides Noah. Okay. Do we have any other responses from key individuals? Meme Johnson. Oh, it's just the word is just, yeah, whatever. Right. Pam. I was just seeing if there's any more responses from family members, but it doesn't look like that's the case. We've got Christy, a different Christy there. There we go. So it's like the Christmas spirit to an extent. I'm showing this in here as I can relate with many of these fake profiles here. If one is seeking for justice for Noah, then why hide behind a fake profile? What are you all hiding from? You're all being detected, and all of you can run to Texas, but you can't hide. I mean, this is the other thing. There might be the patterns and trends of fake profiles, alternative accounts, but sometimes people can get ahead of themselves. Just like with the whole Dina Rose situation, people getting ahead of themselves. Just like with the drunken situation at the party, people get ahead of themselves. Just like the questioning of, are any adults at the party? Oh my God, people get ahead of themselves. You just need to slow things down. When it comes to the party, there were adults present. As for parents, that's another question. But adults, people the age of 18 onwards, Noah Presgrove, I think Jack Newton, Caden Pressey, etc. Adults, young adults, but they're adults. And others refer to them as kids. Why? And people say, well, you shouldn't be calling them that. That's not right. Well, if you're close to them, if it's family of family, friends of friends, and you're of an older age, you might refer to them as kids, your kids, their kids. It's normal. But from the outside perspective looking in, you would refer to them as young adults. It's that simple. But people get ahead of themselves. As for the Dina Rose situation of, it'll be solved within a week or so, and there's footage here. And there's JJ bump ass that's got footage in, and some kids in a car park, even though he wasn't even in Oklahoma at the time, and he was coming back from somewhere else. Just a mess. A mess. People jumping the gun with time. Some people may have jumped the gun with me. As in, we've got this and we've got that, but, is it clear enough? So, it can be disappointing. The trend of fake profiles, maybe people jump ahead of that. Just because you disagree with someone, do you just suddenly jump to a conclusion that there must be a fake profile? It must be an impersonation of this person. It must be that person back then, who I don't like. Sometimes it's just jumping a bit too far ahead. See, once again, when it comes to me, I look for patterns, I look for trends, I look for little symbolisms, I look for tiny little things that stand out, abnormalities which could suggest that they are fake or suggest that they are pretending to be somebody else, that who they really are of a previous person who goes from the past, right? There's a lot to it. You just jump on in, you could end up being wrong, and then you look like a prat, and maybe that's happened with time. And once again, I'm not talking to Beth directly, I'm talking about the theme in general. What's the response? Donna Bond. So this is what happens when you disagree with her tactics. Keep me on that list. My account's real. I'm in this for the truth and not speaking anything but the truth. Not her version of anyone else's version, but the actual truth. Oh no. What's going on here? Another Jan post. Go figure. She just needs the attention, I guess. That's what Nicole Brown says. This may be the dumbest post to date. Has nothing to do with Noah and needs to be deleted. No one is concerned for Jan and her feelings. She needs to build a bridge and get over it. Oh no, what has gone on? Braxton, with the amount of frog waffles in here today, I thought we would have stumbled up into the IHOP. Oh no, we got frogs all of a sudden. We got Renee, and I don't know if this is the Renee who I've come across on YouTube with a green profile picture. If it's not, just in general, the person with the green profile picture called Renee on YouTube, shout out to them, especially in recent time, a good individual. And I forgot to say earlier, I don't know if the person saw it, I don't know if it's from the community or not, but big shout out to one individual in the background for the support on the channel last night. If you're around, if you know, you know. That's all good, appreciate that. But what does this Renee say? I know you, I don't personally up close hang out around you, but even though we've had our differences decades ago, I truly believe you. You want the best for Noah. Oh, okay. Right, so all kinds of stuff going on with the Jan situation. We'll have to get to that in a second if I can actually find it. Oh, there we go. Joyce Bergow, 19 hours ago, Jan is regarded as an all-star contributor, which must be like a little tag you can get. Okay, so dodgy already because it's on the left-hand side. I don't know why. Can I get it into the centre of the screen? Personally, I don't want to touch anything because I don't want the page to kick me off and the way the buttons are. But I'll just read it anyway. 31 minutes ago, but this was 19 hours ago it was posted, so it's still recent. I'm guessing it's on this page. I'm guessing, and if not, it'll be elsewhere and it's been reposted. Subject, addressing unfounded criticism and motivations. It's intriguing to consider why certain individuals go to great lengths to undermine the reputation and credibility of others. This behaviour is particularly evident amongst a small group of individuals who claim to advocate for truth and justice on behalf of Noah Presgrove and his family, yet resort to tactics that serve to disparage rather than uphold the principles. And to be honest, that's in relevance to the case because I can relate to it to an extent that there are individuals out there that may claim to care, but then how they may treat me or false claims being made or the way people can just turn on me like that when a random cretin, low IQ or a peasant-like mentality ends up saying some random thing with no evidence or proof, and then people turn their heads like owls and say, woo, we believe in it. And then try and screw me. And then the odd other people with obsessions, which I've clearly outlined and explained in the comment from last night's video. Check it out if you need to for reference points. But they do what they do and say what they say, and then that's done to kind of like damage me. And the odd other creator in the past when I first started this case, from start to finish, where individuals claim to care, but at the same time they'll attack you, but then they'll run back to in the public limelight and say, we care, we really care. I saw it with the Dylan Rounds case, two-faced bastards, okay? So that's just in general my point, but I can understand the beginning of this. How does this apply to Jan Fiorillo, or is she talking in general herself? I'm not too sure just yet. But let's go on. Research shows that the motivations behind such behaviour can often be traced back to a few key factors: financial gain, self-promotion, such as seeking respect and attention, deflection from their own lack of credibility or actions, or simply acting out of spite, an indication of emotional immaturity. Ultimately, their actions reveal more about them than the individuals they attempt to target. The language they use is a reflection of their own insecurities, motives, and often lack of intellectual integrity. See, at the end of the day, whilst I might not go all in on that, I've come up with similar points and observations when it comes to the resistance in a case, the resistance in the community, that pushback, that attack, whether it be threats, whether it be misdirection, whether it be other means of communication and language, emotional manipulation, some kind of blackmail to push you away. And it happens at key moments, such as if you're on the right track, you're looking at a certain individual or a certain event. Come on, it can happen. So maybe it applies here too, with this theme to an extent. But if it did, could it apply on both sides, on different communities? Possibly. At the core of most of these motivations lies one central issue: deep-seated insecurity. Insecurity is fundamentally a fear-based emotion. Overly defensive behaviour is a clear sign of this insecurity. People who are secure in their truth and self-awareness don't waste time attempting to undermine others. Instead, they focus on building themselves up and supporting others. Those who engage in such negative behaviour often struggle with the issues related to self-esteem, self-confidence, motivated by greed or desire. So it could go on just a little bit that, but it's said in a formal way, which basically is just highlighting the state of different communities with time. See, I've done probably a more deeper psychological analysis of the whole situation, and maybe how I worded it, I applied it more to the case so it was more relevant and people could relate better and understand it clearer. But as for Jan's formal, mostly well-written post, maybe not everybody understands the language. Maybe there's a language barrier. But in terms of lack of related to lack of self-esteem or self-confidence or struggles there, I think when it comes to the general population, with certain people that can come across problematic online and in communities and how they behave, they're not doing it for the case, but they're not doing it for the opposition. They're doing it for their own reasons, whatever that might be. It can be very random at times. See, there's been occasions where I might have been attacked or I might have received resistance, and then people jump the gun and instantly think, well, any resistance and all resistance must mean that you're on the right track and you're heading the right direction, and it's the bad people responsible that are trying to silence you and silence progression. Not always the case. I've come across random people online that get in the way, act as roadblocks and try and screw me and more, and it's like, why are you doing it? Why? What is the point? And sometimes they don't even know themselves. So, all kinds of stuff going on. Oh my goodness, it continues on. Do you know what? I would have said that's okay, but no, there's more. This is on the army page. Okay, is it still there? I don't know. When did I last look at the army page? Was it a few days ago, before this post? Who knows? But we'll read it anyway. It's a continuation because they couldn't fit it all onto one screenshot. People of genuine integrity, those who are compassionate and principled, do not engage in such behaviour. They focus on their own personal growth, happiness and well-being. Okay, so you could say we're going a bit off track, but it could be, general statements and observations made, fair enough. But yeah, maybe that's why some people are thinking, right, we're going off a bit tangent, but let's just read anyway. When you encounter individuals who engage in ridiculing, belittling, gossiping or spreading rumours, that's relevant, it's often best not to engage with them, least you risk being associated with the same toxic behaviours. Whether you inherit it yourself, you become part of the problem. People have done that in the past, whether that be through brainwashing, being vulnerable. You join a group, you associate yourself with others, and then deep within, certain personalities are kicked in and you inherit the darkness, or the darkness awakens within yourself. All kinds of stuff happens, or it gets put into you like a toxic venom into your neck, into your blood vessels, and you change for the worst. I've had it where viewers on my channel, from the Dylan Rounds case to the Noah Presgrove case, that have walked away, fair enough, but where they've gone to, they've become a part of the darkness. They've turned out for the worse as an individual, whether it was always there within them or it just became apparent last minute, or they're somehow connected with it and then it was added into the mindset, the neural pathways, whatever it may be. I've seen it where humans have gathered elsewhere and they're just downgraded in quality, in mindset, in presence, in purity. It's all gone to shit. So it can happen. Emotional manipulators, narcissists, psychological abusive individuals can be likened to spiritual predators. Oh no. They tend to target those who are kind, forgiving, or overly accommodating. I mean, to be honest, when it comes to good people, kind people, in small numbers, because you might not get many, and it depends, not to single out humans, because there is quite a few good people that watch my videos, and especially those in the background. But sometimes, in other situations, if you ever come across a hybrid person, someone that could be kind, could be very welcoming, very patient, they don't jump the gun, they might have a very good sense of humour, they might be quite light, they've got a presence about them, they leave an imprint for the right reasons, maybe not for everyone, but the odd person, and so on. Hybrid humans, you don't always come across them, okay? Just like with YouTube channels, hybrid YouTubers, I am a hybrid, okay? Because you can see based off the playlist and the type of videos, but people still jump the gun and think, WarLike Wrath, you're a true crime channel, that's all you are, that's all you should focus on. Bitch, please, you look back at the past, you do your research, you'll realise that that wasn't what I was always about. I did a range of other stuff before that, and then it started with mysteries and missing person cases, and that will never be forgotten. True crime is just as good and just as important, yes, and the people along the way in the communities, but where I got to was because of missing person mystery cases, and you can't just neglect that. You can't just forget about where you were and where you got to. Just like how you've come across people along the way. It needs to be acknowledged to an extent. Anyway, in terms of distressing to witness, it's even more painful to experience. If you identify as someone who tends to be the nice person or the chill individual, consider setting boundaries. Be kind to those who show you respect, but refrain from offering your time, energy, or compassion to those who are manipulative or toxic. You have no obligation to empower individuals who seek to exploit others. And I guess that can also apply to other situations where you may give a lot, you may offer a lot because it's all genuine, and it might be sucked out of you, that energy, indirectly when the other human or people are not reciprocating in all kinds of situations. It might mean a lot to you, but does it mean anything to them? So once again, this post by Jan Friarillo could be considered going off tangent and going a bit too deep when it's not necessary, and it's taking it away from the Noah Presgrove case, but there's a lot of depth behind this, and I thought I would just add in some additional links and comparisons along the way. Yeah. Furthermore, by allowing yourself to be mistreated, you inadvertently contribute to a cycle in which these individuals may continue to harm others. Sometimes it's necessary to take a stand. To those who have dedicated so much time and effort to scrutinizing and analyzing my actions, oh, and now the names are mentioned, so I don't know if this is where things go wrong, possibly. I don't know. But at least up to now when reading it, it was like a general observation, but what's this about? To those that have dedicated so much time to scrutinizing my actions, such as Donna Bond, Brooke Bounds-Carter, Denise Rogers-Arnold, Jennifer Nana Bentley, George Choden, Travis Davidson, Jodie Randall Bennett, never heard of, Christy C.E., Robbie Taylor, Nicole Brown, Michelle Bryan, Mike Johnson, and Golden Apple Tree 991. Thank you for your concern, as well as for the unsolicited emotional and psychological assessments, legal advice, and miscellaneous whatever. Right. So maybe this is where the issue comes out from. But this post is from the Army page. So someone or some people from the army page they've got a screenshot and then reposted it on the case discussion one. So you can see how that works, how things get passed about with time. These named individuals on screen, am I aware that they've been very critical towards, in terms of Jan Friorillo? To be honest, I'm not going to know all the names here, right? George Choden, all I've seen is more so back and forth between Justin, Roy and George Choden. That's where I've seen the main focus there. As for Brooke Bounds Carter, I've seen it more towards back and forth towards the likes of Lisha Lee and the odd few viewers on my channel. It is what it is, right? Back and forth, defend yourself, freedom of speech to an extent, right? It's fair. As for Donna Bond, I've seen that more so Donna Bond being critical towards maybe police or authorities and beyond, and maybe towards Trav Davison when things got messy in the past, if I'm correct in saying. This is just my observations from what I'm aware of when it comes to certain named individuals and who they've had interactions with at some point. Who out of this list have I seen who's been quite vocal or critical towards the likes of Jan Friorillo? Not to be negative, but just to my knowledge, I would say Robbie Taylor, only because Robbie Taylor has been present on my channel, so I've seen the comments made with time, and also the questioning behind Jan when it came to the odd video here and there when we were looking at some screenshots and conversations. So there was like material, there was a reason for someone to be talking about another person, whether it be for the right or wrong reasons, and in this case it was critical. But I'm not going to know everything. I'm not going to know all the conversations and all the wording and language and the analysing, okay? I just wanted to share some thoughts. At least from my experience when coming across Jan Friorillo, although limited, I've not had any issues or problems, so that's good, but not everybody has the same experiences, and other people may see possible darkness. Anyway, what else do we have here? It seems to be repeated. But below, thank you for your concern, as well as the psychological assessments, legal advice, miscellaneous information regarding trust, ethics, morals, and various unrelated topics such as frogs, apes, monkeys, and talking horses. Oh, no. No, not talking horses. Okay, we got the monkeys. A talking horse? Interesting. I wasn't quite ready for those sounds because I wasn't expecting to come across those, but don't tell me the farmyard is coming back. However, please rest assured that I am doing fine and do not require such attention. I encourage you to focus on your own well-being, etc. Best regards. P.S. This holds true for everyone who's been at the mercy of these character attacks. Let's all try harder to be our best behaviours, as we're all here to advocate for justice. Right. I think that appears to be it. We'll just see what the responses are. Cami, does she not realise this is the exact definition of gaslighting she, Jan, and her background crew were exposed for? At the very least, multiple moral mishaps, and at the very most, obstruction, and her response is to try to demean members. I mean, just to reiterate one situation, so certain people don't get into a hissy fit. There was one thing I remember where supposedly Jan Friorillo made it up about Robbie Taylor being someone called Jody or Jose or something. And the reasoning behind that being said or suggested was like as an experiment to trust some non-disclosure agreement with certain said individuals in the background. And the likes of Robbie Taylor in that situation was like treated as as an experiment used in some way. Now, I'm not going to know the full context or the backstory behind it all in the first place, if there was any reasoning, if there was any agenda or whatnot, but, you know, if it's like something has been set up or planned and it's in the background, but then how it might be presented in the public as this is reality, this is a fact, and it's all natural, but in the background things are being tested and variables. Not everybody's going to be on the same page or wavelength. So what can you trust, what can't you trust, what should you be cautious of and shouldn't be, right? It's that behind the scenes communication, behind the scenes actions in the community and beyond, further afar, and within the case. Surface level, so much is said, but how much of it is true? Then in the background, deeper within, is that the truth? The real conversations, the real thoughts. But once again, you could compare this situation to the likes of Area 51 or the Pentagon. On the outside, there's a lot of, discussions, theories, mysteries, but if you was on the inside and you worked there or you knew people, who knows what is actually happening or being talked about. Is that sneaky woman from Nana's screenshot who got kicked out of her for talking nasty to Christina Michael as if it was her own group? Nobody took her offer, move on. Didn't they crown her admin in that group? Please tell her to save her drama for her own group. This has nothing to do with Noah. I guess she's mad nobody has mentioned her name in a month. Question, who is Golden Apple? No clue. No. I'm going to leave this post here too, since multiple people want to share Jan's post from a page we're all blocked from. Well, I'm not. Jan Fiorillo's post is a classic case of do as I say, not as I do. She's accusing others of being narcissist whilst demonstrating some pretty narcissistic behaviour herself. It's clear that being exposed for her manipulation behind the scenes has struck a nerve. She's mad and she can't let it go. Instead of owning up to her actions, she's trying to shift attention from her own behaviour whilst playing the victim. Her post is full of contradictions and condescending tone. Rather than addressing legitimate concerns, Jan is launching personal attacks and diverting attention. It's time for her to take a closer look at her own actions. And let's not forget the cowardly way. Where is it now? I hate it when it ends up disappearing. Where's it gone? Oh, right. And let's not forget the cowardly way she's chosen to express herself, posting in a group where she knows none of us can defend ourselves, and love how she thinks she can control the narrative by silencing others. How narcissistic is that? My only question or counterpoint would be, is Jan Fiorillo a part of the case discussion group? If she isn't, or if she's blocked, then obviously she couldn't post here in the first place. But if she has the opportunity to do so, then you could question why it wasn't posted here. And then that might link to Nana's point in a way. But then again, you could argue and say, yeah, Jan Fiorillo could have posted it in the case discussion page if she has access to it. But how long will that post remain up for? And could it be taken down in between? And would it be a waste of breath? There's other factors you've got to take in mind there as well. I love how she thinks she can control the narrative by silencing others. How narcissistic is that? See, I think what's happened within this case and community, people like to use a lot of buzzwords. And I've come across the odd individual that likes throwing them about as well. And some more sense, and the patterns and the trends aren't looking too positive or good. Can we please move on from Jan and get back to focusing on Noah? Oh, not that reference again. It's that constant convincing, having to reiterate, having to remotivate. The crops have died, things have flattened. You're trying to rejuvenate it. You're trying to constantly convince it. Instead of the words, why not just the actions, right? I mean, I demonstrate it with my videos. I don't do lots of community posts online saying, right, I'm going to do a video tomorrow and it's going to be very special and it's going to have all kinds of talks within it. No. I don't often do that because I just make the video outright and then post it out of nowhere. So, yeah. And with over 200 videos made on this case and joining late to this case, I mean, I'd say it's, handled mostly well with, a few rough patches along the way, but, it makes it more raw. Interesting. If I was in a situation where I made lots of community posts but made hardly any videos, then, there's a lot of talk but no action and it's not getting anywhere. But there is the exception. Whether it be how you interpret Jan's post or how you interpret people's comments and responses back, depending what side you look at it from, within the case or just in general, at times, people will say actions speak louder than words. But just in general speaking, the reality is there are times and moments where certain words expressed can do a lot more to someone than actions for the right or wrong reasons. But just words themselves, whether it be because of distance, whether it be because of disconnect or whatever else, out of arm's reach, you may not be able to act. You may not be able to do this or that, but what you can do is communicate digitally and other forms as well creatively, and it will leave a lasting impression and mark on someone, just as an example, right? Sometimes words can have more of a lasting memory than actions can, right? It all comes down to the person, I guess, receiving it and how they respond to such words. And to be honest, at times, words can be a form of action as well. If you needed to say something, state something, make something clear, if you don't do anything and you don't open your mouth or you don't make a video, then, you know. So there's a crossover, but still, I still think that words, language, it can go a long way. Let's move on. That appears to be it for that little thread. Braylon, Joyce meet Beth. Beth meet Joyce. Jan didn't coordinate her latest patsies. What does that mean? Oh, well, we saw that, didn't we, earlier? But it was a separate post, was it not? Let's see. Donna Bond, you do realise Joyce is not a pawn. She's actually a really good person and I love her. Thank you. I share this because people should be allowed to see it. Right. That Beth person must have blocked me, so I would not have seen this without the post. There's a lot of blocking in this case in community, isn't there? There's a time and moment where it's needed, of course, if people don't learn or it just gets too much or too toxic. But Jason, how many of those people that Jan names she got blocked so they can't even defend themselves? Funny, all of what she listed describes her perfectly emotional manipulators, narcissism. See, the thing is, let's just say Jan didn't have certain people blocked. Those certain people may not have access to that page anyway because they may not be members of that page or they may have been blocked, banned themselves and not just by Jan. So different ways of looking at it. But yeah, maybe the act of posting it in a certain place. But then again, like when I had to defend myself when it came to the Reddit drama in the past, I could have responded directly on Reddit, directly to people's faces. But you know what that would have been a problem with? It would have dragged unnecessary darkness and conflict to a established page to an extent and just muddied it there. I'll take the shit and I'll respond on my channel on a different platform. So it takes the darkness away from elsewhere. So I'm actually doing people a favour. So that's another little observation along the way. What else do we have? What about the other three with Caden Pressey going to the scene with him? Did they ever say what time that was? So like backing Caden up. It'd be nice to hear their versions. And maybe it was said in the background or to police, but publicly I've just not seen it. It's a shame. Because when you've got Caden Pressey and three other guys, and it's only Caden doing all the public talking, he's like the torchbearer taking all of the flack and the questioning on top of it. And what? Not once have any of the three other guys supported Caden publicly, at least to my knowledge. But then again, wasn't it Caden that said with time, all the partygoers and friends disconnected from Caden, kept the distance? Would that apply to Brylan, Mikey and Isaac? Does anyone know? What's this? Mikey Lair, Brylan Sweat were under 18. I'm not sure about Isaac. Ah, is that so? Interesting. Crickets. Oh, a lot of crickets. They have spoken with police. If they agreed with Caden Pressey, Timeline Police would take him seriously. I don't think they've ever made public comments. Maybe not. Being minors at the time probably had a lot to do with why they, kept quiet maybe? Contacting anyone? I've wondered the same thing. Do they all agree with Caden Pressey's time? Because it's okay saying, well, this and that person spoke in the background and with police, but besides Caden being public, who else can be just as vocal or public and also be on the same side as Caden, who was also a witness? It would go a long way, with the exception of maybe some timestamps, phone pings along the way as well. What's this? What happened with the OHP, OSBI, FBI task force that was mentioned in Partners True Crime episode 2 by Dalen regarding Noah? Episode 2. I didn't even know Dalen was in one. The family was given false information by FBI. Okay, well, that's pretty much it there. So, I think we'll leave it there for now. I just wanted to catch up with different posts and you see it from different perspectives. As for coverage on this case, there is still stuff to do. Unfortunately, I just didn't have time to do it today because of the timing. It's late, gathering all the material together. You know, it might not be done well, the quality, so I thought reserve it for a different day when there's more time to do it and the delivery should be better. But besides that, hopefully you found this video of some value. If you want to like or share, feel free, that'd be appreciated. And yeah, my name's WarLike Wrath. Goodbye, good night for now.